Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to solve question number 6.10. The chapter which we are related with is Interest and Bond Valuation, Managerial Finance by Lawrence Gitman, 6.10th question. Although we have right now starting calculation of interest after 9 questions, but still I would like to introduce or explain few elements again. This is repetition. We are revising few concepts, but these are very important so that we can conclude and take next step. So guys, the very first thing which we have understood is real rate of interest. Real rate of interest is actually the amount of interest which you are actually getting, which you are getting in real after subtracting all of inflationary and other economical barriers. You will get your real rate of interest. I will give you a small example. If you are getting your nominal rate, the rate which you are receiving from the investment company, the organization which is investing its amount to get interest, and you have received that amount as a loan, so you will receive the you have taken the loan, so you will pay the amount of interest, so you are going to give the return. And in other meaning, let's say you have deposited in any treasury security or bonds or debentures or loan or debt you have given to someone, so you will receive a rate that would be considered as nominal rate. But what you will have to do, at one side you are receiving rate of interest or return, but on the other side, due to inflation, your expense volume would be increased. So what you will do, you will subtract your inflation rate with which you will get your real rate of return. So guys, we are going to discuss the same thing over here. Let me uh, arrange it. Here we need to wrap it up also. So please keep it in mind, whenever you want to know the real rate, you will subtract inflation rate from nominal rate. Now please understand, you are subtracting inflation rate from nominal rate. When you want to take this minus sign to the opposite side of is equal to, it would turn positive. So in other means, real rate add inflation rate, you will get your nominal rate. Real rate add inflation rate, you will get your nominal rate. So what you will do, you will add your real rate in inflation premiums or inflation rate, and then again you will add inflation risk premium. So these are two different sides, different ways or different elements regarding inflation attributes. Finally, you will get your nominal rate of return. Please keep it in mind, it would be same for investor and the person who is taking debt. When an investor is investing his amount to a person who is receiving the debt, the investing company will receive a return, and the person who is taking loan will pay interest. So it's an expense for the person who is receiving loan, it's an income for an organization who is investing its amount. So kindly keep it in mind, you have real rate of interest. These are three different things. First, real rate. Let me change its color. Okay, the first thing which you do have is your real rate. This is different thing. and then you will add inflation premium. That's a separate thing, and let it be like this. Inflation premium, and you do have your inflation risk premium. This is third element which would be associated with this. You will get nominal rate of return finally, and let me change its color as well. So please understand, sometime presentation becomes more important. So please do understand, when you will add your inflation and inflation risk premium, and inflation risk premium, you will get your nominal rate. And what I am going to do, just picking up these two elements and writing them again. Just first two elements I have taken, real rate of interest and inflation premium. Only two factors. When you will add, you will finally be getting risk free rate of return. It means all risk associated with inflation we have already added. So this is risk free rate. In our questions, every element related to these would affect the solution. At this stage, you are requested to please take a screenshot over here and note these elements anywhere you want, so that in future it can help you. Though what I was saying, these elements are not directly associated with this question, rather this chapter has these elements very important, and you are requested to please note it down, keep these elements in your mind, repeat these concepts for 3 to 4 times. Okay, so let's get back to the question and what we are needed to do. Since question size was very small, so I thought to take some time to introduce few facts regarding previous questions as well. Now first time we are going to calculate our interest payment. Charter, some company has issued 2500 debentures. So now debentures, bonds, debts or loan, it's the same thing. So you should understand organization receiving loan from public will issue a debenture document. It is document to person who is investing in company. Read it again. Organization receiving from loan from public will issue a debenture, a document to a person who is investing in a company. Let's say you are investing some amount in national saving, and national saving is giving you a document. That document would be considered as debenture, because in national saving, Qawmi Bachat, they are receiving amount from you as a loan. So you are investor, you are investing your amount in national saving, you will receive interest, it means it is your income, and national saving is paying you interest, so it would be considered as an expense of national saving. So I'm very sure that you understood. So Chartered and Company 2500 debentures were issued, principal value 25 lakh. The bond have coupon interest rate 7%. So we have understood amount of investment was made 25 lakh, 25 lakh was invested by the public in charter corporation. 2500 total debentures were issued. 7% rate was promised to be paid. What dollar amount of interest per bond? Please underline it. Interest per bond we need. So for that purpose, per bond means per debenture. Debenture and bond is one of the same thing. So we need to know what is the price of per bond. Look, these 2500 are number of debentures or number of bond, and total amount you have received from 2500 debenture is 25 lakh. So you want to know what is the price of single bond. That means per unit price. Alright, we are going to solve part A, for which first step is to know per unit, or first we will write a universal formula per unit price. How would you know per unit price? For that, you will see how much total amount you have and will divide it with number of units. So this is your universal formula and can be applied to any element, any factor. So right now we are since associated with the bonds and debentures, we will alter this formula in a way per bond price is equal to total amount of bonds and divided by number of bonds. So we have changed this formula according to our requirement. Now we are open to calculate per bond price. So let's get back to the question and see what total amount we have received. Total amount of bonds. Look over here. Total principal value is 25 lakh. Same we need 25 lakh, and you need to divide it with number of bonds. Number of bonds are given in your question. Look over here. 2500 debentures. So total numbers are 2500. In this way, what we are able to calculate per bond price. That means price of one bond. Price of one bond. Statement has been completed, and now we can put it on calculator. So we have got 1000, and what is this 1000? Per bond price. Let's highlight it because it would be needed for our question. So we have got per bond price as 1000. Now let's get back to the requirement. What dollar amount of interest per bond an investor expect? So it means amount of interest. For that you need a formula. Interest can be calculated by taking principal amount, then you will multiply it with rate of interest, and you will multiply it with time. This way you will get your total amount of interest. I am going to make it visible for you so that you can understand it. So guys, we have our formula and you will note it down. Total amount of interest can be calculated by taking principal amount, multiply it with rate of interest, then again multiply it with time. What principal amount we have calculated, since interest is required to be calculated for single bond? What dollar amount per bond? So principal amount of per bond is 1000. and then you will multiply it with rate of interest, which was given over here 7%. So put 7% here, and then again you need to multiply it with time. For how much time we need to calculate? Each year, receive each year. So here, how many year? Each mean 1. So in this way you have completed your formula. Now you are open to put this on your calculator. Multiply by 7%. 7% means 7 divided by 100. So you can write 0.07 and then again multiply by 1. So please note it down. 1000 multiplied by 7%, that means 7 divided by 100.07 and multiply by 1. So you have got your interest per bond that has been calculated. Interest per bond, this is also to be considered as your answer. Interest per bond, have we written? Okay, no. So please note it down. Your answer for first part is this, interest per bond. Let me change it to yellow because all answers we will write in yellow color. So guys, we do have what is this? We do have interest per bond, that is 70. Please understand this fact. Principal amount would be multiplied with rate of interest multiplied by time, and you can note it down in this way. It would be PRT. P for principal amount, R for rate of interest, T for time. This way you can remember it easily. So guys, we will see now our next requirement, B. Let's get back. B is saying, what is Carter's total interest expense? Now please note it down. This concept of interest is prohibited in Islamic point of view. Why it is prohibited? Because when you are concentrating this amount to one place, it would not be present in the whole market. So it would be beneficial for only a person or organization who is investing. That is why Islam prohibits interest. So I am assuring you that we should be careful in, and this is just a concept. Practically we do not like to have interest in our economy. So for the time being we are just understanding the concept. We do not like to have it practically present in our economy. So I'm just assuring you as it, the concept of interest is not favorable for the economy as a whole. So that is why Islam prohibits it. Now come back to your question. When you have calculated 7% on single dollar, you have got interest per bond. While on the other hand, in B part, you are asked to calculate interest expense per year, total. So when you have taken one bond, you have calculated interest per bond. And now when you will take the total amount as principal amount, you will get total interest. Same formula we will use. Please note it down. This interest formula we are again using in the same way in B part, where you have calculated interest amount. Now here one cell is disturbing. Let's make it unmerged. I have shared you, these are live lectures, and whatever you are looking here will similarly be shared with you. Okay guys, we have calculated interest per bond. That is why you have taken amount of bond, amount of single bond over here. Since now you are needed to calculate total interest, so what you will do, you will take total amount. Here you have calculated interest per bond. So there would be a difference. Here you are going to calculate total interest, so you will have total principal amount and you will multiply it with rate of interest was 7%, and then again you will multiply it with time, that is 1 year. So in this way you will be able to calculate your total amount of interest. Since statement has been completed, you can now put it on calculator. Please follow this formula: 25 lakh multiplied by 7%. 7% means 7 divided by 100. That means 0.07, and then you will again multiply it with 1. Please note it down. Total amount you have taken to calculate total interest per bond, price you have taken to calculate interest per bond. Statement is completed, so you have calculated total interest. Let's highlight it and mark it as it has been completed. So B part answer 1,75,000, A part answer only 70, interest per bond. So this can have an alternate method as well. What you will do, since we do know that total number of debentures are 2500 and per bond you are getting 70. So how much total interest you will calculate? Number of debentures, you will multiply it with per bond interest. This is second way you can calculate your total amount of interest, and here you are writing total interest. Number of debentures we have calculated over, we were given in the question 2500, and for each debenture you are getting 70 as your interest. So finally 2500, if you will multiply it with 70 per bond, you have got the same answer. So these are two different ways in which you can calculate your total amount of interest. Please note it down. Both methods are equally important. B part is ended. Now let's see what C part is saying to us. Assuming that Carter is in 35% tax bracket, what is company's net after tax interest cost associated with this bond? That is simple. Total cost of interest, then you will subtract your tax, you will get total cost of interest after tax. So this is simple thing. This is total cost of interest before tax. Let's manage it according to size of your factors present in the question. Alright guys, so now let's see how much total cost of interest which we have calculated over here, 1,75,000, and tax would be calculated as 35%. Let's calculate our tax. Amount before tax was 175,000. Cost, look, it is at the same time cost of debentures and income from debenture. The person who have invested this amount in Carter organization, that person will be getting income in shape of interest, and for Carter it is an expense or it is cost. So tax bracket is 35%. 35% mean, okay, we will directly calculate 35 over 100. This is your amount of tax which you have calculated, and finally you will see how much cost of this bond is. Simply total cost of interest after tax, you will subtract amount of tax from previous cost 1,75,000 before tax cost, and you will subtract 61250 as your amount of tax. This way cost after tax you have calculated is 113750. This was your third answer. So let's mark it as it has been completed. Let's see what else. Nothing A, B and C parts were given. First we have revised our concepts, then we have started our question. A part, first answer was 70. Please note it down, and you are needed to repeat it as well. First answer, interest per bond you have calculated was 70. Then you have started your B part where total interest was required, and you have calculated 175,000 with two different methods. And then C part, you were required to calculate total cost after tax. You have subtracted your tax from interest before tax. In this way total cost was also calculated. All three answers we have revised, and in this way 6.10 is completed. Though it has been completed, solution is in front of you, all answers are revised, but still I am offering you, if you have any problem, any misunderstanding, you are very open to ask your queries, questions through messages, text, or you can directly meet as well. 6.10 is completed. We will surely be meeting soon again for solution of any other question. Up till then, please take care of yourself, and there are two requests: requesting to pray for me as well, and a request to revise this question for 3 to 4 times to have better understanding. 6.10 is ended. It's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much for your time. Allah Hafiz.